let me ask you this, because since you've gone to like you're, very much meat based. Any benefits cognitively, mental health wise that you can tell? Is it less stress, or how does that work for you?
I just think that I cope better with outside stress. You know, I do know that my thinking is really sort of really clear. I sleep very well. I recover very well. Um, it's hard to pinpoint, but I feel really good. And when I look at people who are my age, people who are 10 years younger, even 20 years younger, even 30 years younger, I know that I feel better than them. And, it's like, well, is it because I train? Is it because I do some meditation? Well, that has a part of it, but I know that it's what I eat. I know if I eat something that's, let's say off piste, I feel crap. It affects my head completely. You know,
Yeah,
it's yeah,
a lot of people comment that, particularly people that have been on a sort of a meat-based diet for periods of time, they'll say if they go off for the weekend, or they literally feel like they've gained 10 years of age or 20 years older, and everything hurts and their guts hurt, and they can't think clearly, and they're anxious and depressed, and we see those things pretty frequently, so I'm not surprised. What is so you're training these days? Because I mean, I see, you're doing a fair bit of high rep stuff. You're doing some basic heavy movement, a lot of functional training. It's out. It seems like
mhm.
it's always outside in the backyard. So, is that so? What are you focusing on? What's your goals when you're training, or how does a typical week's worth of training work for you?
I've done lots of programs in the past. I don't have a program. I just train intuitively, but I know throughout the week that I'm going to do some squats, I'm going to do some deadlifts, I'm going to do some form of pressing. I have to work around with old injuries, etc., etc. Um, but I just like to move. And for me, the focus is really about maintaining muscle mass. It's not about getting bigger. It's just maintaining muscle mass, being strong, but also being able to move. You know, it's, I think you said it in one of your posts yesterday or the day before. There's lots of people who can be strong 50, 60, 70, but they can't move. And for me, the important thing is to be able to move. If I can move with strength, if I can ski powerfully, and that for me is is important. I still want to be able to throw someone. I still want to be, if someone wants to throw me, that I can break from it. So it's having that resilient strength, that agility type of strength to be able to do, to be able to sprint. If, I go walking with a dog, and then I'm walking in these fields, and then I decide just to go for a run. I don't normally run, but I just decide, okay, I can go for a run. Age to me is, I don't think about age. I just want to be able to move, be strong. So my training is just about that. It's doing compound movements, um, maintaining muscle, but being able to move with it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you're very similar. My stuff's all set up in the garage. Yours is in the back garden, I guess you'd call that, perhaps. And kind of similar training style, similar type of equipment. And I train by myself, 99%. I mean, it's always nice when somebody comes by. It kind of motivates me more. But I mean, are you someone that's always trained alone, or is this kind of what you've done recently?
Yeah, I mean, I've been training on my own the last 15 years, but I've gone to gyms. When I used to come back to the UK when I was in Switzerland, I'd go to a CrossFit gym. But basically, I train on my own, and that can be quite sort of, that can be tough. That has to have its own sort of, like, like motivation. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I feel we're very similar in that I just haven't found people that, I mean, you get a point where people don't want to do the same things you want to do, and then you're kind of like, because everybody might want to bodybuild, and you're like, well, I want to do things that are more maybe athletic or functional. And then, I mean, so you're in Scotland. I mean, it's cold in Scotland, or I assume it is. When I was in Inverness a few years, back in 2014 for a world championships in Highland Games, where I competed there. And what about do you? I mean, outside in the cold, rain, snow, whatever. How do you do that?
Well, that's what that I don't live in Scotland. That's where the retreat is. I live in the south of England, in a place
Okay,
called Brighton.
okay.
But when I used to live in Switzerland, um, we used to train outside, and I had a group of guys who used to come training with me every day, and we would train outside. And it's a bit of a funny story, but I had where I lived was a very, very exclusive ski resort, and the people who lived there were quite exclusive people. And they used to come to me and train. And one of my warm ups was to shovel my garden and clear the snow. The funny thing was, is that these people are paying uh, other people to clear their drives, their gardens, but they were coming to me, clearing my garden and paying me for it
That's
as
fun.
their warm up.
That's great. Kind of reminds me of the Karate Kid type of thing with the waxing the cars and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. And it's good.
So we would train in -16.
Yeah, yeah. I find, for me, it's sometimes like it to be like my garage is, I'd have to think centigrade, but it's, in the wintertime, it's 20 degrees, 25 degrees, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, below zero centigrade, somewhat. Can't remember the number exactly. And getting out there and trying to lift heavy it took a while, it took a while to kind of get
Yeah.
warmed up and, I'd go in there and ride the bike for a while and sprint and put on heavy clothes but you still do it. But it's, like I said, I'd much prefer to train in warm, sunny weather for sure. I mean, I don't know if you feel
Same
it.
here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The winter is tough.
yeah.
The winter is tough. Yeah. But then the training changes because of the seasons. As soon as the sun comes out, it's warmer. You feel better.
Yeah, you feel like you can run some sprints and things like that. We're just now kind of getting where it's a little bit warmer here in where I'm at in the kind of the Seattle area, but it's kind of often cold and rainy, and so it's harder to get outside, particularly when the rain is coming down. But